What's up, everybody? So this is like take two because I don't want to record when there's people around, and I thought there was somebody that was coming to the dog park, which there wasn't. They were just getting in their car and heading out. But I'm at the dog park. This is my famous dog park that I feel like nobody ever comes to. But Violet likes to play in the sand and dig holes, so it's a good fun spot for her. And also kind of new today got like really hot. At least my car said it was in the 90s, so this is one dog park that actually has some shade because I've lost my water jug somewhere for allowing her some water in a bowl. So I'm not sure where that is. I don't know if I lost it when I was fostering or what, because it was kind of hard to keep tabs of both dogs at once. But I know I'm behind on this. Just kind of had some, still kind of have some burnout. It's like even the downtime that you have, even if it is like a couple hours a day, it's like I feel like even though it's like spoken for, and like even on the weekends, it's like there's stuff I want to do, but like that requires energy or attention. So it's like I want to go to either the ballet or I want to do the record store day, and I went and did the record store day. Then of course I hopped on the highway, and oh great, I got a bee on my leg. Hopped on the highway and traffic was so bad I was sitting there for a half hour that eventually I was like, all right, abort, we're going to a different place. And I was only going to go to one spot and look at records and then be done. And then it was like, well, let's go head south, check out this mom and pop spot. So I went and checked that out. They had a lot of good stuff. They just were really small too at the same time. So they definitely were like quality over quantity. And then after that was like, well, there's another one that's kind of close by, so we'll hit up that one. That one was still busy. I was kind of shocked because they opened at like 8 o'clock. They had a blinds, all through the steps down the road. And I didn't want to deal with that, especially because it was like 40 degrees and I was tired, the grind and everything. But when I went in, it was still busy. They had music going on outside. I think they were selling some food. But I did find a cool little record that was on clearance. For me, it was more about like I'd always had to work during these events, so I've always missed them. So I was like, I really want to go out and experience one. So even if I don't buy anything, at least I've been there. But then when I went there, I was like, I feel like I need to buy at least one thing that says record store day. And to be fair, that if you did buy something, they normally gave out like free stickers or posters and stuff like that. So I got some of that stuff for the scrapbook, so that's a good start. All right, we are now back at the apartment because we were at the dog park and there were some families around. They're, kind of hooting and hollering, and I just felt super weird, like talking to my phone while there's people around. So, just want to kind of quit that. And at the same time, it's like I didn't want to keep shooting this and take away from the time that I was spending with my dog because I think ever since I realized, or ever since I like finished fostering, I kind of realized like how kind of special and lucky I am to have Violet because like she's like super well behaved. We don't have any like issues with her destroying stuff or getting into stuff, or we like complete like potty trains perfect. She never really has any issues. She doesn't get in any fights. She's not really bad on leash. Like she rides really well. Like she sleeps really well. Like she's like going on 4 years old, but I swear to God, she's like, I don't know, an 8-year-old dog that's like been there, done that, knows what to do, like never gets too wound up. Other than like maybe at the dog park when she's having fun, but she's just super like well behaved, and when I think about most of the day, she's just kind of like chilling here, not doing much. So I'm like, when we're at the dog park, I try to like be at the dog park with her. Like she's gonna run around and do her thing, and normally if there's other dogs around, like she'll go socialize with them, and that's kind of what I want because she's a super social dog. But um the park that we went to today, because of the heat and the shade, there's not a lot of dogs that go there. So usually she'll run around, she'll sniff, she'll dig up the sand, and then like she kind of wants to play with me or she wants to go for a walk. So she kind of got to that point where she was just kind of like sitting by my feet. So I was like, all right, put the phone away, put it down, like let's play some fetch. And so we did that for a little bit, and then we went for a walk around the park area, which is pretty nice. And I noticed she does cute things today too, where normally in the morning And at night when we go for our like last walk or our first walk of the day, where I know she needs to go to the bathroom, I'll just throw on my slippers. They're like super comfy and they don't fall off, like, but they're basically like, you know, like sandals kind of thing. So it's so every time I get off work and I come home, you know, she's been here all day, 8 9 hours, whatever it is. And so when I come home, she's like super excited and she'll come over and say hi and she'll want pets and she'll want hugs and she'll want to kiss me. And well, then she'll like run around because she's, you know, excited and she's also ready to go to the dog park or go to the bathroom. And um, so today, while I was like putting my bag down and since it was warm, I was changing, she like ran over and like grabbed my slipper and like brought it to me like, here's your shoe, I'm ready to go, here, I'm trying to be helpful. Like she's just like smarter than, I don't know, the dogs I guess I've been used to, that like she's correlated like, well, if I get these shoes it means we're gonna go outside, so let me help. Like, so weirdly enough, it was like small stuff like that just kind of makes my day. Or just like this, like last week, and honestly even a little bit today, like today's Monday, like this morning and Friday morning, waking up, I was just like, I had the worst burnout. Like I'm mentally exhausted, I'm physically exhausted, you know, I'm socially exhausted with like dealing with people. And I was like, I want nothing more than to just like unplug and like do nothing for a week, you know. And Friday or whatever, Friday morning, and like this is not what normally happens, but like Friday in the morning, I always sit in my chair and I have my V8, I have my granola bars. It's part of my routine. Well, she knew something was wrong, and so she like came over, hopped up on the chair, and basically like snuggled herself into my chest. She was basically giving me a hug, and so like I basically like was hugging her while I was eating my breakfast or whatever, and then that was kind of like where I was like, okay, like I was acknowledging, okay, maybe I'm off today, and she knows I'm off today, and she's trying to like console me. But I was like, it's Friday. Let's like it. I always had this thing when I'm sick or I'm down, where I'm like, just go in. Half the battle is showing up, so I'm like, just go in, at least get a half day. If you still don't feel good, you still like can't get past whatever's dragging you down, then like just say, hey, I need to leave. I need a mental health day or whatever. Like, because they're not really gonna say anything other than like, okay, man, like you take care of yourself. And at the same time, usually, at least in this situation, like I have like 36 hours usually after 4 days anyway, so go and get 4 or 5 hours. That's my 40 hours regardless. I'm good. And then weirdly enough, it worked out because I I'm a driver and I typically do locals. So you grab a couple, you go deliver them, you come back, you pick up a couple more, go back and do it. But we also have long routes for other cities that we got to go to, and I'm a backup for one of the long routes. So that guy called out, so I had to go cover for him, and it kind of worked out because I didn't have anything crazy big or heavy that I had to worry about driving around or lugging around all the places I'd been to before, because you know I don't get to do that on a regular basis. Sometimes I forget, but basically got to be by myself all day. Um, I think I listened to an audio. I think I listened to a podcast or something like. Actually, no. I think I listened to radio, which you know is kind of weird for me because like my weird routine is like I wake up or whatever, get there, I will listen to like the morning talk shows up until about 10, and then 10's kind of when it stops and it's just like music radios or whatever. Usually, then I have like, all right, I'm gonna listen to podcasts the rest of the day or an audiobook the rest of the day up until that like last hour or so, because then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to start a chapter, I don't want to start another podcast, I only get halfway through, and then like it's time to go, so I'll stop and listen to the radio. Like that's kind of what I do. Where I think I was so in my head on Friday, like good and bad, that I literally listened to the radio pretty much the entire day. Like I think I, until I was finally driving home for my last run, was I like, oh, maybe I'll toss on the podcast and crank out an episode, because I've been listening to Dungeons and Daddies, which sounds scandalous, but it's just a kind of a more chill, relaxed Dungeons and Dragons podcast that's pretty well edited, and like audio sound and everything for effects is really good. It's really cool and really well done. And then like, I briefly mentioned earlier about, even like so, especially for me as an introvert, but like even going out and like socializing or making plans, it's like, even though it's fun, it's still draining. So I was like, there's plenty of stuff I can do this weekend. Like I said, I want to go to the ballet. We were gonna play Dungeons and Dragons. That got canceled. I did end up going to the record days thing, which I thought I was gonna go for like 2 hours. I ended up going for like 5, 6 hours. Can't remember how long it was. And I had Violet with me too, so it was one of those where it was like, all right, I'm gonna go in for a half hour, come back out, make sure she's cool, because like the weather was fine. That wasn't an issue. It was like 60s, but like, I always feel bad when I leave her in my car for too long. Like, she rides real well. She's fine being left in there. She doesn't freak out. I just feel bad, but at the same time, I know she'd rather know where I'm at, hang out in the car, than be home for multiple hours and not know where I am, because she knows when I'm like at work, and she knows when it's like, you should be home or we should be doing something. Where are you? And that's kind of when she gets nervous and anxious, and might actually chew something up, because she's chewed up a couple chords here and there, but it's typically been like times where it's like, this is our time, where are you, like, what's going on? And then weirdly enough, today was another one where I woke up and was like, like, I've been working on developing this game. Basically, it's like a Red Rising meets Dungeons and Dragons, but like, really, I'm just stealing the formatting of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm basically building the whole world. Have to build all the characters. Have to build the city on it's on Venus, so it's not even on Earth. Like, it's in the future, so currency's different. Like, it's a lot of work. And like, part of me is like, am I doing too much? Should I do more like playthroughs to make sure it works and runs smooth? Like, am I overthinking this? And then like, like the thing that I feel like always happens, and that's not just me. It sounds like it's like most players. Until you get that like core group of guys or girls or crew or whatever that you can rely on for their schedule, or that they want to play. Like, you start campaigns, you get into it, and then stops. You start a campaign, get into it, and then the schedule change. Like, and then all these cool campaigns just die off, and you never get to finish them. Where now I have these like seeds of doubt in my head, where I'm like, am I going to put in all this work to build this world, to build this really cool story, and then we're going to play 3 times, and I've spent, I feel like, 60 plus hours working on this, and I'm still not done. Like, so now I'm getting, now I'm like second guessing myself, is this worth it? But at the same time, it is kind of fun. Like, I used to write like fiction stories and stuff like that, and that was like an enjoyment and a help creative process. So now it's like the combo of this, building this world and telling these stories and building these characters, it's like, it's fun. But then I also have, WrestleMania's coming up. I want to prep for that, make sure that's fun. Baseball stuff, trivia, this, just the life of a streamer. And I'm not much of a content creator. I try, but like, it's like a third thing to me. So like, this is a content thing, but this is also kind of a, I don't want to say a mental, like a therapist type of thing, but it's just something like, I want to be able to look back later and be like, oh yeah, I was doing this when that happened, or yeah, I was really going through it then, man. I didn't show it, but I was really going through it. Or like, oh shit, he's about to do this. Like, that was so fun. Like, I wonder, like, I don't know. It's kind of like a time capsule. Like, I know most people, and that's kind of gone out of trend. I feel like that was something that, like, when I was in grade school, that was always a thing where it was like, put all your fun stuff when you're 10 years old in a box and bear it in your backyard, and then look through it like 10 years later, 15 years later, and and kind of go down that nostalgic trip of like, how much you've grown, what has changed, what has stayed the same. To me, this is kind of like the virtual version of that, where it's like, throughout an entire year, like, what changed? What did you accomplish? What did you want to do that you did do? What were things that you wanted to do, but because life happens, you just couldn't get it done? Like, my goals list that I do, and I honestly need to go through this again because I didn't really pick a goals list this year, other than like one, which was to go see a new ballpark. But usually, when I know I have a steady income, every summer I go through my goals list and I try to pick out like 3 to 5 things. Maybe one's travel, maybe one's like mental challenge, maybe other things are small things like go to a baseball game. But I hadn't done that this year, so maybe that's something I need to do because that keeps me going, keeps me targeting things, keeps me challenging myself, uh, doing things because one of the I don't want to say it's a motto, but one of the quotes that I really like is that people choose to exist, they don't choose to live. And I don't want to be one of those people that just is existing, and that's going to their 9 to 5 jobs and are waiting to basically retire or whatever and then start living their life. Like, no, because I mean, honestly, the way that our world is right now, what am I going to be 80 years old when I finally can retire because our pay is so shitty? Okay, well, by the time I'm 80 years old, I'm going to have no energy. I'm probably going to be sore everywhere. I'm going to have probably no friends, like whatever. So it's like, might as well do it while I'm somewhat healthy now and, have can still get by sleeping on somebody's couch or sleeping in my car if I have to. Or when I'm 80 years old, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be like, I need the nicest mattress at the nicest hotel. Oh, well, that's $500 now because inflation. Like, no, now it's okay. Now I think I can get by and do that stuff, and I think that's something that people they don't realize until it's too late in life. Like my mom's kind of like that too, where she even said this as she was about to retire, where she's like, all I ever did was take care of you boys and work my whole life. I never did anything really that fun. I never went anywhere. And even in her like retired days, she still feels like she's got to do something, and she's got to help us out, or she's got to like she helps somebody else, a guy out with his finances. So she's a bookkeeper. She helps out this lady with her medical stuff. Takes her to like it's still work, and we've kind of like keep pushing her the last couple of years. Like you're retired. These people shouldn't have to rely on you for stuff. You should be super selfish right now. You should be whatever you want to do. You should be focusing your energy and time for that because you don't know when your last day is going to be or when your health's going to go or whatever. So she did go to Alaska. I think it was 2 years now. She loved it. She wanted to do it again. I think this year she did say she wanted to do something with my brother where they wanted to go see what is it? It's the Falls, Niagara Falls, I believe. So I'm like, yes, do that, please. Please at least give yourself like one trip a year, whether it's with me or my brother or anybody else, or even if you go solo. Like, just please, like, travel and do stuff. And if you're not, then I want you to have like 5 rescue dogs so they can keep you on your toes. And I kind of hope that for most people, though. Like, I know money's tight. I know inflation sucks. I know my generation, at least, where as it says, like we're the most educated, but yet have the least amount of income. We're the poorest generation. Like, I get it. Trust me, that's what's been getting me down lately as well. Our society that we live in sucks. It does. I feel like we are constantly getting conned with education or insurance or whatever it is. Like these generations before us found a way to rig the game up where they can continue to polish the corner of their income and screw us over in the process. Like I get it. It's killing me. But we got to find little wins here and there that they can't take away. We're talking about it this yesterday or whatever, like going to see a concert nowadays, like it's not a cheap ticket anymore. It's a couple $100. Is it worth it? To me, it's not. It sucks because I'd love to go see some of these top stars, but at the same time, I can go to a local bar, at least in my area. But I can go to a local bar if I'm early enough. I don't even have to pay to cover. But if I go late enough, 15, 20, $40 tops, go listen to the cover band that actually has some skills and, have a couple drinks. Like, okay, you can't do it every night, can't do it every weekend. You might go broke that way, but every now and again it's not bad, and it keeps it fresh, and you're still doing stuff. So, but I don't know. That's kind of where my head's at been lately. I'm struggling with the devil on the shoulder and the angel on my shoulder of like, keep pushing. There's stuff to look forward to and get excited about, and then there's other parts where it's just like there's so much society stuff that's like out of my control, out of our control, that it's just like it's hard to stay positive so much. And but I mean that's the struggle I guess we all got to go through, and that's life. So can't say I'm perfect. I think that's another reason why I wanted to make these blogs as well, to be like, hey man, I'm trying to be as real as I can. I don't want to rant about veganism or anything like that, or politics, but at the same time, like, I'm trying to keep it real, trying to be honest, trying to be vulnerable. So that's what's going on this week. Sorry that I missed kind of last week or 2 weeks, but going through it, trying to do my best, trying to keep my head on straight, and trying to make bills. So it is what it is. But I think going forward, we are going to try and do these or release these on Tuesdays instead of the weekends, because we got baseball stuff to do, and then we also got the BA's baseball recap, and I mean WrestleMania is going to be this weekend, so it's just kind of tough to do, bang 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 of content and over the weekend, and then by the time the weekend's over, it just feels like I didn't get any rest or any recovery or get any chores done. So I'm trying to spread it out a little bit more throughout the week. So that's the game plan going forward. I will check you guys in the next one.